let me talk to you about a few rule changes that have been out there in the ether and some that are discussed that are not put into place. I've got the Commissioner, Rob Manfred, right here. Is there truly a groundswell amongst management to put a runner on second base to start extra innings in Major League Baseball?
Well, you know, this is one of the problems when something gets out in the press before we really announce it, and that's what happened with this rule. We really weren't ready to announce it. That was intended to be a special purpose rule for the low minor leagues where, you know, often games, there's few fans there. The games are really developmental in purpose. A lot of them are played in heat, you know, very warm locations, Arizona and Florida in the summertime. And the idea with the rule is there's no developmental purpose in playing 18 innings. And so let's just have a way to bring the games to an end a little quicker. We had no intention, never suggested to the MLBPA, never suggested internally that it was going to be used at the big league level.
So that's a non-starter? That's not happening?
Non-starter for us, yeah.
Okay. Now, putting a runner on first base just by waving a hand, saying intentional walk is complete, just a nonverbal cue to just say put a runner on first base. What is the purpose of that in your estimation? What are you trying to achieve with
Look,
that?
I think it's a small first step in dealing with what I call dead time in the game. Just points in the game where there's no real action, there's not going to be action, and I understand that, you know, in 0.001% of the time, something happens in those 4 pitches. It's really not integral to the game, and it's part of a process of taking that dead time out of the game. We saw intentional walks, 2 of them in the 11th inning. I don't think they really added anything to the action last night.
So what are the metrics you're seeing, Commissioner, on your desk about either polls that you're taking of your fan base or feedback that you're receiving from your television partners that says this game must be sped up?
I think that the one that concerns us the most is the amount of time between balls being put in play, action in the game. It's not the absolute length of the game, because length depends on what kind of game you got. Obviously, a 10-9 game is going to be longer than a 2-1 game. Our concern is the period of time between balls being put in play and producing action that keeps the fans engaged.
So you think, and there is a concern that in the day and age where we want everything on demand, we get anything we want on demand on our television sets, we're watching everything on phones,
right,
we're constantly looking at second windows, that the lyrical nature of this sport, which, by the way, I'll just let you know, I love sitting at a game, chit-chatting with a friend. Sometimes I understand that the action doesn't happen as fast, but I love that. Are you saying, are we a dying breed? Is that what you're thinking or seeing?
I don't think so, not at all. Let me say 2 things about that. First of all, I think that the in-ballpark experience, nobody quibbles with it. You don't hear people in the ballpark saying, gee, I wish a little more was going on. The in-park experience, that's why we draw 75 million people a year, because the ballpark experience is really good. I think on the action point, it is more of a broadcast issue. And there are 2 different things going on. Society's changing. You point that piece out. But the game has changed. We are at an all-time high in terms of the period of time between balls being put in play. We have record numbers of strikeouts. We have record numbers of home runs, which, again, is just a ball. It's very short, over quickly. And record numbers of relief pitchers being used. And all of those things are adding up to a changing game. I don't feel like I'm out there trying to suggest to people that we should change the game or there's something wrong with the game. What I am trying to suggest is the game is evolving naturally, and all sports manage that evolution. And I think we need to be a little more proactive about managing the change that's occurring next.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.